When I first thought about training my dog to be a therapy animal, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I mean, sure, I had seen those heartwarming videos online. Dogs gently nudging the hands of children in hospitals or lying beside the elderly in nursing homes, their soft fur bringing comfort to those who needed it most. It all seemed so simple, so effortless. But the reality of it was a journey filled with challenges, laughter, and a bond that deepened in ways I never expected. I remember the day I made the decision. It was a rainy afternoon, the kind that makes you want to curl up on the couch with a blanket and a good book. But instead, I found myself staring at my dog, Max, who was sprawled out on the floor, snoring softly. He was a golden retriever with a heart as big as his appetite. I had adopted him a few years prior, and he had been my constant companion through thick and thin. He had this innate ability to sense when I was feeling down, always coming over to nuzzle my hand or rest his head on my lap. It was in those moments that I realized he had something special about him, something that could bring joy to others. So, I started researching. I read countless articles about therapy animals, their training, and the incredible impact they have on people's lives. I learned about the different certifications, the requirements, and the various organizations that could help guide me through the process. It was overwhelming at first, but I was determined. I wanted to give back, to share the love and comfort that Max had given me. The first step was basic obedience training. I thought I had it covered. After all, Max was already pretty well behaved. But as I quickly discovered, there was a world of difference between being a good pet and being a therapy animal. We enrolled in a class that focused on socialization and obedience, and I was amazed at how much we both had to learn. Max was eager to please, but he was also easily distracted. A squirrel darting across the yard? Forget it. A passing car? He was off like a shot. It took patience and consistency, but slowly we began to make progress. I learned to be more assertive, to set boundaries, and to reward him for staying focused. One of the most memorable moments came during a practice session at a local park. We were working on the stay command, and I was feeling pretty confident. I turned my back to Max, counting to 10 in my head, only to hear the unmistakable sound of paws patting behind me. I turned around just in time to see him bounding toward a group of children playing with a frisbee. My heart sank. I rushed over, half laughing, half scolding, but the kids were in love. Max was in his element, wagging his tail, soaking up the attention. In that moment, I realized that his natural instinct to connect with people was something I needed to harness, not stifle. As the weeks turned into months, we began visiting hospitals and nursing homes as part of our training. The first time we walked into a hospital, my heart raced. I was nervous, unsure of how Max would react to the sterile environment and the beeping machines. But as soon as we entered the pediatric ward, everything changed. The moment Max stepped into the room, he transformed. He was no longer just my dog. He was a beacon of joy. The children's faces lit up, their eyes sparkling with excitement. Max bounded over to them, gently licking their hands, his tail wagging furiously. I watched in awe as he instinctively knew how to approach each child, sensing their needs, their fears, their hopes. One little girl, Emma, was particularly special. She had been in and out of the hospital for months, her spirit dimmed by the endless treatments and procedures. When Max approached her, she hesitated at first, but then reached out a trembling hand. I held my breath, hoping for the best. The moment Max nuzzled against her palm, her face broke into a smile that could light up the darkest room. It was as if a spark had ignited within her. From that day on, we made it a point to visit Emma regularly. Each time we walked into that hospital room, it felt like we were bringing a piece of sunshine with us. Training Max was not just about teaching him commands. It was about building a connection, understanding his instincts, and learning to trust him. There were days when I felt defeated, when I questioned whether I was doing the right thing. But then there were moments of pure magic, like the time we visited a nursing home and Max curled up next to an elderly man who hadn't spoken in weeks. The man's eyes filled with tears as he stroked Max's fur, and for the first time in a long while, he began to share stories of his youth. It was a reminder of why I started this journey in the first place. As we neared the end of our training, I knew we were ready for certification. The day of the test was nerve-wracking. I watched as Max performed each command, his focus unwavering. When the evaluator smiled and gave us the thumbs up, I felt a rush of pride. We had done it. Max was officially a therapy animal, and I was his handler. Looking back, I realized that this journey was about so much more than just training a dog. It was about discovering the power of connection, the importance of empathy, and the joy of giving back. Max taught me that love knows no bounds, that a wagging tail can heal wounds that run deep. Together, we have made a difference in the lives of so many, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us next.